Bad habits could be holding you back from becoming a successful person, but we can change that in this video. Or at least teach you everything you need to know to finally break those bad habits and start being productive. So stick around to find out how. Why is it so hard to break bad habits? Let's look at some of the basics. These are crucial to understanding the process. They're harder to break than we usually think, and the reason lies in the way our brains work. Every time we repeat an action, especially one that gives us an immediate reward, the brain strengthens its neural connections. This happens through a process called neuroplasticity, which allows the brain to adapt and create automatic patterns based on repetition. Moreover, when we engage in a habit that brings a sense of accomplishment, the brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter connected to pleasure and reward. This dopamine release reinforces the habit, creating a cycle in which the brain tries to repeat the action to get the same satisfaction. That's why, even when we know a habit is harmful, breaking it can feel like an uphill battle. It's deeply rooted in the brain's automatic circuits. So what can we do about this huge challenge? We need to take it one step at a time, exploring different concepts. Some things need to be broken down to get to the root cause, but without making it too complicated. 1. The trigger behind a bad habit. We need to start with the basics, recognizing bad habits. Believe me when I say this can be very difficult, as we often cling to denial or try to ignore the problem. But the longer we avoid it, the deeper the habit becomes ingrained in our daily routine. Let's talk about triggers. These are the things that provoke or activate the habit, and they can be situations, emotions, or environments that cause us to perform the action automatically. In other words, they're the things that drive the behavior. Stress, boredom, or anxiety are common triggers that often lead to unhealthy habits. Individuals who experience elevated levels of anxiety or stress are more prone to developing unhealthy habits like smoking, overeating, or spending excessive time in front of a screen. The habit loop can be broken down into 3 main stages: the trigger, which is the stimulus that initiates the behavior; the routine, which is the behavior that follows; and the reward, which is the relief or satisfaction we get from performing the action. How does this work for a smoker, for example? The trigger might be stress after a long day at work, the routine of lighting a cigarette, and the reward of the temporary feeling of relief. That's why it's so important to recognize the habit. 2. How to identify them. Now that we have a better understanding of how bad habits work, how can we identify them more clearly? It's actually quite simple, and this is where we need to start a process of discovery. Identifying these patterns involves journaling or meditating, tools that help increase self-awareness and identify the emotions or situations behind the habit. Research shows that 43% of our daily actions are automatic, highlighting the importance of being more aware of our behaviors and their triggers. This is where cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, becomes important. A proven technique that helps identify and modify the underlying emotions and thoughts that maintain these habits, providing an effective way to address the root causes and promote lasting change. So how does it work? It's quite simple. It's about keeping track of automatic attitudes and behaviors. For example, coming home from work, getting into bed to rest, looking at your phone and spending hours on it. That's why the aim is to log these automatic thoughts, write down your thoughts in certain situations, and gradually expose them. The key is to keep a calm overview without dwelling too much on these aspects. 3. How to change these habits. Let's talk about the important part. How do we replace these habits? Start with small things. Once you've identified your bad habits, it's best to start with small changes. For example, if you like to snack late at night, buy some fruit or water instead. The trick is not to attack the bad habit directly, but to gradually replace it with a similar but healthier one. For example, instead of checking your phone, you could read a book or do something related. Psychologists explain that the habits that stick best are those that don't overwhelm us and offer an immediate reward. That's why techniques like habit stacking, popularized by James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, are useful for adding a new desired habit to an existing routine. For instance, while brushing your teeth each morning, you could incorporate a small activity like doing push-ups right after, building the new habit on top of the existing one. 5. Using triggers to your advantage. We recently talked about triggers and how they activate bad habits, but what if I told you that they can be reprogrammed to work for you? Let's look at an example. Say you want to start exercising but never stick to a routine, and you let your gym membership go to waste because you don't prioritize it. You feel lazy and don't mind paying for the gym. One simple thing you can do is lay out your workout clothes the night before. This way you'll be more inclined to exercise in the morning. This is related to nudge theory, which explains how small changes in the environment can influence daily decisions. For example, putting fruit in plain sight instead of biscuits on a shelf can help you develop healthier habits. In addition, apps like Habitica or Streaks gamify habit formation. making the process more motivating and structured. 6. Practice patience and self-compassion. This is to help you be more compassionate about your behavior. It's important to realize that breaking a habit doesn't happen overnight. So remember that temporary failures are part of the process. Instead of punishing yourself and treating yourself badly, try self-compassion. Not to harm yourself, but simply to keep moving forward without falling into negative cycles. Being kind to yourself helps to maintain long-term progress. It will make your process much more enjoyable, and it will also allow you to see mistakes as opportunities to learn, a concept proposed by Kristen Neff, an expert in self-compassion. This attitude has been shown to increase the ability to move forward and promote sustainable success. 7. Seek accountability and support. Another important point is to share your goals with friends and family or join a support group. This depends on the scale of the process. If it's something very big, you'll need a lot of help. If it's not, support from a family member or loved one will suffice. But if it's something that can help you a lot, having someone to guide you through the process or an accountability partner will greatly increase your chances of success. This is because you feel more committed to your goals. In some studies, accountability can increase the likelihood of success by 65%. However, for larger aspects and habits, working with a solid social support system can increase this figure to 95%. 8. Celebrate small successes. This is very important. As well as being kind when you fail, you should also celebrate small successes. One such achievement is not realizing that you've been using your new habits for a week and that they're becoming a regular part of your life. Rewards don't have to be big. Even an enjoyable activity, a short break, or simply crossing a task off a list can activate the brain's reward center and reinforce the new behavior. Research shows that habits are easier to maintain when the reward is immediate. For example, treating yourself to something small after a week of consistent exercise can make the habit feel more rewarding and motivate you to continue. 9. Stay persistent and focused for the long term. Overcoming a bad habit is a continuous effort that demands significant commitment. It's not easy or quick. It's a process of small results and tiny steps that add up over time. Concentrate on the long-term advantages, like better health, enhanced mental well-being, or increased productivity, instead of focusing on immediate rewards. There is often a present bias where you prioritize immediate gratification over future benefits. Being aware of this bias is crucial to counteracting it and keeping your focus on the goal. With all these tips, I assure you that you will go far. Creating new habits is a challenging process, but not impossible. I hope these tips will help you become a better person and lead a healthier life. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'll see you next time.